there before the Thanksgiving holiday rush that begins in earnest next week.
Let's talk about air traffic controllers. This has been
Cutting it
focused during the
close.
shutdown. It's obviously a very stressful and important job. Any
We're
sense
gonna do
when
much
they will get
better
paid for
having
all the
a-
work they did?
Yeah, they missed 2 full paychecks and part of a third. The Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said this week they would get paid quickly once the government reopened. Duffy said they would get the bulk of their money, about 70%, within 48 hours, and the rest within another week. But some air traffic controllers remember that this is not how it went last time. They say the FAA made a lot of errors after the last government shutdown in 2018 and 2019 and did not pay some of what controllers say they were owed in overtime and shift differentials. Some controllers actually sued the federal government for that compensation that they said was missing. The case eventually settled just this year, so it took over 5 years for some of them to be made whole. And I've spoken to several controllers who say they are wary of something like that happening again.
Now, President Trump
Beware Trump no matter
floated
what.
a $10,000 bonus for people who worked all of their scheduled shifts during the shutdown. Any word on whether that's a real thing?
Whether
Secretary
it's
Duffy
just a
was asked
lie.
about that earlier this weekend. He said he supports the idea. He called it brilliant. And depending on how many controllers there are who qualify, Duffy said they should come to the White House so that the president could present them with their checks in person. I asked for details on how these bonuses might work from both the FAA and the Department of Transportation. So far, no response from either.
That is NPR's Joel Rose. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's almost the holidays, and with it comes office parties, family gatherings, and the dreaded question of what to wear to those things. NPR has been explaining the forces.
Hard-hitting news, NPR.
Our series Cost of Living, the price we pay. Today, we look at clothing. Rising inflation and tariffs are complicating for this year's hottest ugly sweater. But as NPR's Christian Monroe explains, there's an alternative to buying it.
2 years ago, Lydia Patel made a big decision. The pharmacist, content creator, and mom of 3 was sick of seeing all the clothes she used to wear to kids' birthday parties and events languishing inside her closet.
I go to work in scrubs. I don't work anymore, so I really don't need a whole lot of new clothes.
So she decided to stop buying them.
I don't really want to hang on to pieces forever. By the time I have something else to go to, the trends will have changed. My taste might have changed.
But that didn't mean no new clothes. She decided
reporting
why
on
not
clothes.
rent instead. Patel joins thousands of women borrowing high-end premium clothes like dresses, jeans, and even winter coats each month for a fraction of the original price. She says renting has opened up a whole new world.
We're renting clothes in America now.
Fabrics.
I know
To open a world of luxury fabrics, because thrift stores weren't cheap enough. Simpsons just did an episode on that.
I don't even know what you're doing. I don't know what, and I don't want to.
The popularity of rental fashion has been fueled by fears that inflation and tariffs could be back in vogue. While clothing prices are up 9% since the start of COVID, that pales in comparison to the rise of overall inflation over that same period. But what the future holds for the cost of clothing, well, that remains unclear. Nearly all clothing in the United States is made overseas in countries like China and Vietnam, which face up to 20% in additional taxes imposed by the Trump administration this year.
Any new snow coming your way?
As these tariffs settle in, Sky Canavis, principal analyst at eMarketer, says they'll make their way through the supply chain and into shopping bags.
As brands and retailers have to pay more to import clothing, they will have to pass on those costs, at least some of those costs, to consumers.
That could affect
You're listening to NPR talk about renting clothes. We rent clothes in America now.
Platforms is Newly, owned by the same company that owns Urban Outfitters, Anthropology, and Free People. And it's working to tackle the challenge of tariffs.
We're also poor in America now. We rent clothes. That guy's sparkling.
That's Newly president Dave Hayne. He says buying wholesale, working alongside his popular sister brands,
3
is
days,
helping.
no snow.
And if customers are happy with their clothes, Newly's happy to sell it to them at a discount. The goal, to save the holidays from the tariff Grinch. But not so fast, Cindy Lou Who. The holidays are just one of the busiest times of year for renting. And that added demand could mean the odds of getting your hands on that light-up Rudolph sweater might be harder than you thought. Companies like Rent the Runway and Newly are trying to avoid running out of items, but Hayne admits it's hard to get those numbers right.
One of the most important things for this business to be successful is trying to kind of balance inventory levels with subscriber levels.
Payne says if you are hoping to dress to impress at your office party, rent as soon as you can. So,
Clothes rental.
renting is
They
what
had a
Lydia Patel is
15-minute
planning to
story
do
on
this
this.
busy
On
holiday.
Anything else to it?
While she's not sure if she'll be competing with other renters to grab that must-have fun ugly sweater or wearing something a bit more traditional, odds are she'll be returning it in January. Christian Monroe, NPR News.
It might sometimes feel
Okay.
hard to believe when you're looking at a Chihuahua in a cushy dog bed or a
Chihuahuas are always
retriever
hard
in
to
a
believe.
yellow raincoat and boots, but domestic dogs, yes, all domestic dogs, are the descendants of wolves. Now, scientists have long wondered when this switch happened. When did wolves become dogs? As NPR's Nate Rott reports, a pair of new studies gives us the clearest answer
It was a
yet.
long time ago.
If you don't have a time machine,
I'm working.
there are a couple of ways
What
to
are you
look
doing?
into the past.
You having a
using
good day?
ancient DNA and bones. For more than a decade, an international team of scientists have been using both to try to better understand the origin of dogs. Carly Amin, a bioarchaeologist at the University of Exeter, focused on bones, specifically
Here's Denver if
the
you wanna
shape
see
of
it.
skulls. And she says
You
in
can
part
barely
because
see
of
it.
humanity's unique relationship with dogs, there were many
It's down there
skulls to
somewhere.
look at.
Usually
glitter
the
on the
animal
horizon.
bones from archaeological sites is very fragmented. It's broken because it's the refuse and the waste or the trash.
Like the discarded remains of a chicken.
But dogs, when they die, for whatever reason, they're often deposited in very different ways than you would just throw away your food trash. And it means that their
imagine that.
bones preserve a bit better because they're often intentionally buried.
That allowed Amin and her fellow scientists to make detailed 3D models of more than 600 skulls, dating as far back as 50,000 years ago, that they could then search for subtle changes. And one of the biggest surprises they found was that dogs showed a wide range of physical diversity a very long time ago.
By about 10,000 years ago, half of the amount of diversity present in modern dogs is already present in the Neolithic.
Wow.
So very early on in our relationship with dogs, we not only change them from wolves, but they begin to change amongst themselves and generate a lot of diversity.
Not the most extreme changes we see today. Looking at you, French bulldogs, those were the results of selective breeding within the last few hundred years. But even the oldest sample of a known dog from about 11,000 years ago didn't look much like a wolf. Meaning,
it's not a recent dog.
Laurent France is a professor of paleogenomics at the University of Munich. And he says the genetic analysis from that same skull shows that it was a hybrid of distinct Western and Eastern dog breeds.
So that means that by 11,000 years, you already had dogs all the way in Siberia and in Europe. And not only you had them in these two separate parts of Eurasia for long enough for them to become different,
but you also had time for them to be brought back together, probably by humans, so they could breed.
So we're looking at a time where everybody had dogs already.
Meaning the wolf-to-dog domestication had to have happened sometime earlier. Both studies published in the journal Science narrow the window, Amin and Franz say, to understanding when this shift happened. And if you're wondering why any of this matters, like why we should care when a wolf became, consider how important humanity's ability to domesticate wild animals is and has been to our existence. Big cows, sheep, goats, all sorts of plants.
Without them, we have no food. Without them, we have no plants to eat. We have no cereal. Like the domestication of plants and animals is an enormous impact on human history. It's possibly one of the most important things that humans have done. And the dog is the first species we make this relationship with.
So the next time your dog is barking at the delivery person or begging for food, take a breath and appreciate the fact that both you and your furry companion are part of a long storied tradition. Nate Rott.
Hey, thanks, doggos. Thanks, everybody. Taking care of doggos. Alright, I'm gonna have to shut this down because I thought where I was going. Now I gotta use my phone for phone purposes like making a map. Sorry, we just listened to some NPR on the drive. And that's what I get for I'm knowing where I'm going.
Are using the power of social media to grow their bands and cash in on marketing deals.
If y'all want to
power turns
or
against
join
them.
Foxen,
Players and coaches are
FOXZEN.
increasingly asking themselves, is the online harassment really worth it?
Oh, this is
That
for
story in just a
sports
few
people.
minutes on All Things Considered. This is CPR News. I'm Nathan Fernando Frescas. The election brought big changes to some school boards, and that is things getting heated in one Colorado county.
If I may, I wasn't disrespectful towards their viewpoints. I was just
Please don't interrupt the director.
How the election results are shaking things up for
The
this district and
disrespect
others.
in Colorado
Into CPR.
makes us sound like Canadians.
With the sun going down, you might need a light jacket out and about tonight with lows
That's
overnight
their
in the
highlight
40s
of the
across front
conflict.
range. Tomorrow, expect plenty of sun with temperatures back in the mid-70s. This
Oh
is
my
CPR
gosh.
News at 6:19.
I can't read all the Chinese, but thanks for writing
Support
it.
comes from Johnson Law Group, helping
It's pretty
clients
impressive.
with family law issues such as child custody, divorce, and property division, working to provide compassionate and effective legal representation.
Okay,
Learn
now
more
I
at
found the right
johnsonlgroup.com.
cul-de-sac.
Support comes from Busey Bank. Busey Wealth Management offers comprehensive financial solutions that are tailored to individual goals. Learn more on wealth management strategies at busey.com.
They held that message for review. How am I going to review it? I don't speak Chinese. Anyway, thanks, Lily. Be right back.
And job growth has been slow. Colorado's economy appears to be on thin ice, but is it a recession?
Are you skating on thin ice? Are you debating if the warning signs were lies? No, it's Trump destroying the economy. Mention that option. Trump is destroying the U.S. economy like he's destroying everything in the U.S.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from the Doris Duke Foundation, which aims to support the well-being of people and the planet for a more creative, equitable, and sustainable future. From the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, RWJF is a national philanthropy working toward a future where health is no longer a privilege, but a right. Learn more at rwjf.org. And from the John D. and Catherine T. McGarty Foundation at found.org.
It's All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Scott Petro.
And I'm Elsa Chang. The end of the nation's longest government shutdown means food assistance for 42 million people will soon be restored. But anxiety from the 12-day funding pause may stick around, as NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports. Jacqueline Giamona is a single working mom of 2 boys and buys most of her groceries with SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Last weekend, she was thrilled when California, where she lives, sent out full benefits right after a court ordered the federal government to pay them.
I was really relieved, but I do have something that's like, okay, what if they take it away?
The Trump administration battled that order all the way to the Supreme Court. Giamona can't fathom why the government would deprive low-income people of a necessity like food and considers it an abuse of power.
People are going to distrust the government, and I think people are going to be really angry about it for a long time.
SNAP serves 1 in 8 people in this country, most at or just over the poverty level. It's supposed to be there for anyone who qualifies, and it's never been disrupted before in its 6-decade history, says economist Craig Gunderson at Baylor University.
So in that sense, this is a big surprise. It really has broken this entitlement status of SNAP, and that's of concern.
The administration argued it could not use reserve funds to pay for SNAP during the shutdown, but President Trump repeatedly criticized SNAP as a, quote, Democrat program, and Republicans have long tried to shrink it. At the White House last week, Trump falsely claimed President Biden expanded SNAP randomly.
During Biden, they gave it to anybody that wanted it. I think it's something you have to talk about because the numbers are incredible.
Crystal Fitzsimons with the Food Research and Action Center says targeting SNAP was a policy choice.
It does make me nervous that this could be used as a negotiating tactic again. Once you break a taboo, right, it's that much easier to break a taboo.
The congressional deal to reopen the government funds SNAP through next September. Fitzsimons would like lawmakers to make sure benefits won't ever be held up again.
Hello.
Could Congress compel USDA to actually act? They could.
I'm back.
I'm
Can Congress do anything?
Get that done before
Half the Congress is compromised by Putin and Trump.
The Agriculture Department did not respond to NPR's
Said 2026 because that's when we can throw Trump out. But we can throw them out before then. Just gotta get some good impeachment going on, or 25th Amendment.
Say there may be an upside.
If anything, I think that this shutdown and this disruption of SNAP benefits will make Americans more aware this is a really important program and should retain its entitlement status.
And it showed that Trump and the Supreme Court are willing to starve us, or will sue and rule to starve us.
Hang on 1 second. Sorry.
So that's treason, in my opinion. They've already had their trial.
Her partner racked up
Let's move on to the
thousands in
punishment
credit card
phase.
debt for groceries and gasoline. He changed career paths and is yet to find a full-time job. She bartends and they split shifts because they can't afford childcare. She says even her mother was surprised they signed up for food aid.
I mean, when I first told her that we were getting
Thanks, Lily.
benefits,
You speak like 12 languages, Lily?
she was like, well, you both have jobs.
Jansen hopes the more people learn about SNAP,
Yeah.
the more it will change misperceptions.
People need
about who
benefits,
gets
even
it
when
and
you
why.
work.
I think maybe everybody
And also, fuck your
has somebody in their life
misperceptions.
that is affected by this, and they
Like,
can,
literally,
you know,
fuck
kind
your
of make it
misperceptions.
a little more
Don't have
personal.
misperceptions about people that have nothing. It's not your business, other people's business.
Her own family at a tough time.
Thanks for
Jennifer
talking
Buckley,
openly.
NPR News, Washington.
College athletes can earn a lot of money through social media by building a brand and putting up sponsored posts, but social media has gotten much more toxic, especially with the rise of sports gambling. Now,
I mean,
many
is it
people
the
in
rise of
college
sports
are
gambling, or is it
asking
just
themselves,
Facebook and
is
Twitter
this
increasing
worth it?
hate speech
Because
and
Becky Sullivan
maximizing hate
In
speech
real
and
life,
bullying?
it would be hard to imagine a stranger harassing Cam Corin. He's 21 years old, 6'10", 235 pounds of muscle across his big frame, and he's a Division I college athlete, a basketball player for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Off of that.
None of that, though, stops people on the internet.
Especially with this sports betting and everything now, it's just so different. After the games, you check your DMs and people are wishing harmful things on family members.
He was a sophomore when he got his first really disturbing messages from an angry gambler.
And I got hurt in the game, and I messed somebody's parlay up against.
Corin had to leave the game early. He scored only 2 points. His team won, but when he got on the bus afterward and turned on his phone, his home screen was filled with threatening messages.
I hope your mom dies. Like, it's some crazy things. And mind you, these are people on burner accounts, so you don't know who they are. You don't know their identity. And you lost their money, so...
Even if you do, what can you do about it?
He was only
They're just
19,
harassing people
barely a year
online.
removed from leaving home. It rattled him. Finally, this summer, he decided to log off entirely. Practically every athlete today has a story about harassment, gamblers, death threats even. But it's not so easy to just quit social media because being online is basically...
And why should it be on them? Why can't you do
athletes
something
these
about
days.
these harassing
Here's Kyla
trolls
DeEckegard at SMU.
and
can
gamblers?
maximize money you're making. It can maximize the stage that you're putting yourself on. Like, you know, as an athlete,
Gamblers are all victims of an addiction anyway,
Your
but
name. We want, you know, put you
it's
in
not an
that you
excuse for
might not
becoming
be
an
in.
abuser too.
Yet the harassment of athletes online has become an epidemic. In college, the NCAA says basketball players are most at risk, especially around March Madness, when their data shows thousands of abusive or threatening messages are sent to athletes, many of them from gamblers. Some of the threats are so alarming
isn't part of the problem
specific that
gamblers?
the NCAA has to alert law enforcement. More and more players and coaches are deciding that being on social media at all just isn't worth it.
Look,
They have to alert law enforcement, who apparently does nothing.
Like, you should tweet more, you should do this. And they're probably right. I have to protect my peace, though.
This is Jeff Cable, Cam Corin's head coach at Pitt. He himself quit X and made his Instagram private a couple years ago after online criticism had started to seep into his home life.
My kids are seeing stuff at home, my children. I'm seeing the stuff, it's affecting me, and I made the decision then that, look, I don't need this. I don't want this. I can't do this anymore.
Social media has become so baked into the business of college sports now, though, that teams have whole staffs dedicated to churning out creative content for players to post. That's true at Florida State, where Brooke Wyckoff is the head coach of the women's team. Sometimes she wonders, what is this all even for?
We spend tons of time and thought and energy and money on photo shoots for recruits and photo shoots for the team. They're not helping us win a basketball game, but they're helping us get the word out about Florida State.
Players can make thousands with sponsored posts, ads actually on their feeds, but some have decided that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. North Carolina's Denia Kelly is one of the country's best point guards on one of the country's best teams. She could be an influencer if she wanted, but she doesn't.
I just hate social media because, like, you need to have it so you can reach different people and get your name out there. But it's like, at some point, when can you just enjoy the sport for what it is?
Kelly grew up spending time outdoors, touching grass, so to speak, so she already has a vision of life after basketball, a vision that doesn't involve the internet.
I want to be a farmer. I want to garden. I want crops. I want to have peach trees, apple trees. I want to have everything. I want to be able to go outside and grocery shop on my farm.
She's a junior now with a chance at a career in the WNBA. After that, there will be nothing to stop her from going off the grid. Becky Sullivan, NPR News, Charlotte.
Yep. What are you guys up to? Just listening to NPR. It's kind of me. I'll show you guys Denver again. You can see it through the trees. That's Denver through the trees.
Despite the Trump administration's efforts to curb progress in renewable energy, infrastructure is still being built. But how are projects being impacted when it comes to timelines? That story next. You can now apply for up to $1,000 in rebates for electric appliances and energy upgrades.
What?
Colorado
Sounds like Biden stuff.
Opened applications today.
Oh, it's a Colorado thing.
Electrification and appliance rebate program, or HERE. HERE offers discounts for stoves, heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, insulation, things like that. The $4.5 billion investment.
Chilling at the end of the workday. Congratulations getting through your work.
To claw back federal investments.
I got like 3 more hours.
CPR Sam Brash has the story. Find it at CPR.org.
Support comes from Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. For more than 50 years, helping Colorado
Raiders.
higher education classes and down payment and closing
Oh, it's Brightleaf. He's a Nazi. Sorry. I thought a normal person read that, so I was going to read it.
Support comes
He's just a
from
Trump
Blue Channel
Houdinier.
Therapy, a nonprofit mental health provider in Arvada, Aurora, and North Glen, specializing in mental health and trauma therapy.
There was
for
some
ages
light, some
birth to
snowman
25.
light.
Learn more at bluechanneltherapy.org.
I was too slow on the phone. Hello, Walter.
Marketplace is supported by Baird. Baird strives to attract and retain top financial talent, providing stability and continuity for clients. More at BairdDifference.com.
You should get shot out of a cannon facing Siberia. The Nazis bragging that I got a shout out. You should get shot out of a cannon. Sarah Palin's porch into Siberia.
Marketplace is supported by Viking.
Yeah, nobody likes you Nazi Trump Houdiniers. You do realize everyone hates Trump Houdiniers? And everyone will only hate you more and more and more as time goes on, so maybe stop being a Trump Houdinier.
Schwab knows that investors
thought.
need control of their
Just a pro
financial
tip.
future. That's why when it comes to wealth management, Schwab is dedicated to giving investors more choices.
Alright, I'm going to shut it down. They're just going to do Marketplace, so thanks. Have a good night. See you in a little bit.